The circus is supposed to be a place where people can laugh and have a good time with their families. However, there is a side of the circus that is meant to scare and frighten people. This is a side of the circus that Masaru Saiga knows very well. When Masaru's father dies, he gets a lot of money, but greedy people want to steal it from him. Narumi Katou, a kung fu expert with ZONAPHA Syndrome, a disease that makes him stop breathing if he doesn't make people laugh, saves Masaru from 4 strange men who want to take him away. Narumi fights the man off, only to find out that they are puppets with superhuman strengths, and that he can't fight all of them. When Masaru screams for help, Shirogane comes to his rescue and lets loose Harlequin, a puppet that destroys the other puppets in a clever way. Shirogane tells Narumi's family about her relationship with them, and how she has to protect him no matter what. The kidnapper who originally sent the puppets hears that they were defeated, and decides to play his ace in the hole. Pulcinella of the big wheels of fate slowly start to turn for the 3 of them, changing their lives forever. Pulcinella, an enormous puppet with a wooden bat, comes at Shirogane and Harlequin, trying to kill them. However, the puppeteer underestimated Harlequin's true power, and she easily dodges all of its attacks and crushes its head in the blink of an eye, all while keeping her back to Masaru. More men come to take the boy away, but they are happy that Masaru is safe when Narumi uses his top-notch martial arts skills to throw them out the window. Shirogane Anatomy takes him to get washed up and get his wounds taken care of. He not only asks why they were chasing him, but also tells him about his past, like how after his mother died 3 years ago, his father adopted him into the Saigon family. But now that his father has died, his relatives want his father's huge fortune. When he starts to feel afraid, Naomi says she will teach him kung fu so he can get stronger and protect himself. Masaru is taken away again at night by a new group of puppeteers who are able to control Naomi and Kairugin before getting away. A worried Naomi and Shirogane are met by Iro Ishihana, the puppeteer who had used Pulcinella. He explains what happened and how a new group has taken a boy this time. He then takes them to the Karakuri mansion. Masaru wakes up in a luxuriously made bed and sees a man with a threatening smile standing next to him. The man says that he is Zenji Saiga, his father's younger brother, and that he has been given the job of keeping Masaru safe and making him his son. On the other side, Shirogane and Narumi charge like a raging bull into the Karakuri mansion with Ishihana's men. The puppets that Ishihana's men make to break down the door are destroyed by a girl with a puppet named Theo Gaudier. However, Shirogane easily opens the door with Harlequin, and the 2 fall into a trap that sends them down a deep hole, seriously hurting Narumi Masaru. Masaru runs away from his cruel uncle, who beats him with a stick while keeping a smile on his face. Masaru jumps out of the window and lands on one of the guards' heads in the forest. He then turns to face Ishihana with a determined look in his eyes. Masaru tells Ishihana to join his side and do his work. Ishihana is a loyal man, so he doesn't agree right away to join Masaru. However, as soon as Masaru tells him about the money, he agrees. He changes quickly. Sides, Shirogane and Narumi tried to get out of the hole they were in, but they were stopped by a puppeteer who tied their necks together with sharp strings. Masaru and Ishihana then broke into the mansion with Masaru, where Masaru begs Zenji to let go of his friends. Zenji only agrees if Masaru becomes his son. Masaru reluctantly agrees to Zenji's demands, but the two-faced jerk doesn't keep his word and instead locks up Shirogane and Narumi Nakaj, sending them to the top of the pagoda and dropping them from there. With a fire burning inside of him, Masaru kicks his uncle in the balls and rush when Masaru saves them. The 2 are happy, but their joy doesn't last long because many puppeteers come to kill them. Shirogane was hurt and couldn't control himself. Harlequin looks helplessly at Natumi, but Masaru swoops in and quickly takes control of Harlequin, beating the other puppeteers in the process. When the mansion blows up, Masaru falls into the fire, and Naomi is right behind him to save him. Narumi's arm is burned off in the fire, which is sad. Protecting young Masaru while Narumi died has a huge effect on both Masaru and Shirogane, who feel like they lost a big part of themselves. After the traumatic event, Masaru moves back into his house, and Shirogane quits the straw circus to become his maid and take care of him all the time. Shirogane goes to a high school close to his own, and seeing Masaru back after such a long time makes him start school again. Come up to him and ask how he is doing, but his bullies are always coming up with new ways to make his life hard. like putting pins under his seat and throwing wet towels on him, especially their leader, Kajiyama. They don't waste any time picking on him. When Masaru shows off his burns and scars, which scares everyone, and talks about what happened to him, he quickly puts a stop to their acts. Masaru thinks of ways to make Shirogane smile again, and one of them is to get her to join a circus. They go to see Shinobu Nakamaki, the boss of a new circus that is about to open, and ask him to let Shirogane join. When he sees how good he is elsewhere, he agrees gladly. In a dark room, Narumi's body is still lying on the floor. A machine is beeping nearby. Narumi wakes up from a deep sleep and meets Guy Christopher, the man who brought him to a hospital in Illinois, USA, and saved his life. He has no idea who he is or how he lost his arm. Narumi looks to the guy for answers. Out of the corner of his eye, he sees a young boy, who he follows to a room full of other children who, like him, have the ZONAPHA disease. Slowly, the guy reveals the truth about the hospital, which is actually a treatment center, and how Naomi will help them find the automaton that is spreading the disease with the help of the Midnight Circus. Guy goes on to say that aquavit medicine was the only thing that could cure ZONAPHA, but it was all used to bring Naomi back to life. So now he has to help them for the sake of the future. Pullman and Enceladus go to the hospital to kill all the kids in a raid with the help of understanding automata. How important this situation is. Narumi, who is a master of karate and now has a Shirogane, a fighting machine that can heal itself, gets ready to fight them. Narumi breaks all of the automata puppets, leaving only Paul Man and Selmas. They both turn out to be puppets with different fighting skills who are trying to hurt Naomi as much as they can. They don't notice that he is no longer a normal person. Natalia flies like a butterfly but stings like a bee with him, shredding the two puppets into tiny pieces. Natalie joins forces with a man who believes he can help the children by making a cure. He goes on a journey to find the Midnight Circus and put an end to their treasures. Plan Shirogane and Masaru both join the Nakamaki Circus and start making money on their way to making a great circus. Masaru is targeted by an assassin named Vilma, who was hired to kill him by Masaru's uncle. Shirogane steps in to save him, nearly taking her own life in the process, but they were able to knock Vilma out. Shirogane is persuaded by Masaru's great heart to let Vilma join the circus rather than murder her because she also lost her brother to the ZONAPHA sickness in the past. The Nakamaki Circus is getting ready for their first performance in Shanghai as a knife thrower. Narumi and the guy are traveling to Shanghai at the same time aboard a plane. Shirogane also needs some time to comprehend everyone in the circus, especially Vilma, who has grown fond of her and begins to inquire about her experience with love. This prompts Shirogane to think of Narumi as elsewhere. Guy and Narumi are attacked by a group of automatas who are seeking retribution. While Natalia is distracted fighting off the automatas they had slain in the hospital one at a time, each with a unique ability, another automaton enters the cockpit and takes control, causing it to crash and kill everyone. However, Lucille, one of the guy's helpers, stops him. Despite killing every automaton in the aircraft, they still face danger as thousands of flying puppets prepare to take out the engines. Guy takes charge and kills them all. As a result, as they vanished into the distance, they managed to emergency land the jet, just avoiding hitting the circus. The terrified passengers run outside with the assistance of Shirogane and Masaru till they spot the shadow of the one man they both believed had vanished from the face of the earth. With a sheen on their faces, the one and only Naomi. Shirogane and Masaru thought they saw Naomi, but unhappily, he left without speaking to them, leaving them to imagine. Fortunately, Shirogane also discovers their former teacher, who is gravely hurt and unconscious. She assists the man in getting well again. Masaru begins to believe that Shirogane no longer cares for him, but she reassures him that she will always be there for him with a warm embrace, dispelling his beliefs. Journeys with Naomi deep within the Chinese mountains. They locate the master who reveals where the sickness first appeared 200 years ago. In the past, Yin and Jen, two brothers, intended to give puppets life in hopes of learning something there for their research. They had traveled to the city of alchemy. A young girl named Francine, whose entire goal in life was to assist the elderly and impoverished, captured the hearts of both of the brothers. Yan proclaimed his love for her and they got married. Jin received the good news with a heavy heart and started to imagine the worst-case scenario for his own brother. What was meant to be the beginning of a joyful marriage became the worst possible one. Instead, Jin kidnapped and fled with Francine, leaving his distraught brother to search for his wife for 8 years. Jin was finally found in Kirbyron, where he had been spending his time looking for a medication that could save Fancying from a terrible illness. When Ian first met Francine, she was imprisoned in a dungeon. He started crying, and they both held each other close. Yin continued to make a soft stone remedy for Francine, but by that point it was too late. When the dungeon caught fire, Francine perished. Jin lost his mind and used the aquavita to make puppets that could breathe life, while Yin abandoned the village and traveled far away. When one of the oldest automata enters to drink the water of life and explains the function of automata following the death of Francine, their talk is abruptly ended. Jin had created a puppet of her and some other automatics for her to worship and find amusement in. But as their attempts to make her laugh turned into acts of violence meant to murder individuals, things got out of control. The senior automaton is killed by Naomi's owners, who claim that he has had a long and happy life. With the aid of a Shirogane animal, the honorable Shiroganos gather and prepare to attack the headquarters of the automaton known as the Midnight Circus, which is located in the heart of the Sahara Desert. Ashihana is busy with different women in France. He used to be a puppeteer, but he no longer does that. One of the Shiroganias pays him a small visit and tells him they have something he can't say no to wanting. Narumi and Minsha travel to the Sahara Desert with an army of Shiroganias who can't wait to get their hands on the automata. The Midnight Circus opens its doors to let the delegation fight their chosen people and start the games. Not Enemy and the captain's team go into the tent, where they find automata fighters. The fight is hard, and both sides lose people, but the Shiroganios win and move on to the next round. They have to choose between two doors, one of which leads directly to their leader, Francine. The members of the 8th group split into 2 groups of 4 to go through the 2 different doors and complete the challenges that come their way. Naomi walks in with Faceless, the leader of the Shirogane OS, who doesn't really show any emotions. Every time a member of the team dies once they enter, the automata tells them to fight each other. When there are only 2 people left on the team, and they need to go on to meet Francine, they break the rules and fight the automatic clowns that come their way. Faceless is able to stop the most dangerous clown, but in doing so, he loses his life. Naomi loses a lot of blood, but she and the others are still able to get back together and move on to the final round. Now they have to fight the 4 oldest automata, called the Squatter Pioneers, and they have to win if they want to fight the queen of all automata. That's it for this part, so let's wait for the next one to see how things go. In the meantime, subscribe to the channel and don't miss out on the other entertaining anime videos. Peace out.